Morning, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to Love 500 and welcome back to the first day on Project Pearl. We've already discovered something that we didn't know about. Might be an issue, bit of cost involved, potentially even further cost involved. First thing I need to do today is get these windows, that window sorted out, or at least find out what bit I need. So let's get on with it. We need to get over the other bit that is the problem, which I will explain to you now. Need to try and get that done today at the very least. So let's go, let's do it. Let's start day one, Project Pearl. Okay, so potential problem. Remote control, obviously missing the outer case. If I press it at the car, nothing happens. Lock or unlock, or the boot, nothing happens. So if I get closer to the car, it did do it then. Let's try getting a bit closer. So it does it every now and again. If I get into the car. Now I don't know if this is the range problem that I had with a previous car. But even in the car, it's intermittent. And if I get in the car, it does smell of smoke in here actually. Actually it smells more of tobacco than it does of smoke. So I'm pressing the button. Nothing's happening. I have changed the battery, so that's a potential problem. I don't know. I've got going by the state of this remote control, and when I took the changed the battery out, there was some corrosion around where the battery sort of sits. So I don't know whether it's this that's knackered. But when I did get it to work, the doors don't lock. Even when I press the lock, it makes a click, but it doesn't actually do anything. Now this door is actually locked. Let's close it. Let's close that. Close this one properly. So it's not doing anything. So it's doing even less than it was yesterday. Yeah, so when I was pressing the lock, it was clicking, but it wasn't locking. Now I don't know whether that's something to do with the fact that this has not got a lock in it. And obviously this handle is as loose as anything, as I showed you yesterday. So I'm not sure whether it's anything to do with that or not. Obviously, the fact that the remote control's not doing anything wouldn't appear to be. But I'm hoping it's this, so I'll have to get the locksmith out. Because there's no lock on it, I couldn't actually lock the car, because even if I locked it manually, like I did with the passenger side, I would have locked myself out because there's no door barrel, so I wouldn't have been able to get into the car. So luckily I didn't do that. So I am going to, so depending on what happens, so if I get that lock so I can lock it manually, that's fine, at least I can park the car out on the road. If I spend £140 on a new remote control and it works, that's fine. If it doesn't work, further problems, that means I'm going to whack it out on eBay. Cheap, get me money back. But you know, that's worst case scenario, I think, at the moment. The fact that it's got service history, logbook, etc., etc., will make it easy to sell on eBay. But we'll cross that bridge as and when. So I am going to, first thing I'm going to do is do that lock. So I need to be able to find a clip. Hopefully I can find a clip somewhere. Yeah, so let's do that. Let's get that off. What I'll do is I'll get the door card off. I'll get the camera in there and we'll see if we can see what's going on with that lock, and then we'll take the lock out and see if we can get the barrel in. So let's do that now. Right, to start with, which I didn't even know, the bottom of the door, sort of down here, we've got two clips missing down there, and some bent, and the bottom of the door panel wasn't even in. And although the rod was in there, it wasn't in there, so that doesn't help. So I don't think that's not anything to do with the obviously the remote. None of this is anything to do with the remote, of course, but a lot to do with not being able to lock the car. So I'm just going to peel this back properly, and then we'll get the camera in there and have a look, see what's going on. I think you can see this. You can probably see it better through the camera than I can actually. So you've got some masking tape holding that on, and if I get my hand in there, the other rod is just flapping about. Someone's bodged this big time. So it's not surprising why it don't work really, but as I say, that's not going to affect the remote control of course, but at least we fix this and it should be able to get the thing to lock. That's assuming we can get the lock in, of course, the barrel. Right, I'm just going to take this out and we'll get the lock out and see what's going on with it. The handle out rather, see what's going on with it. Right. So if we look at this, this is all falling apart. This is all broken. Look at it. I don't know what the hell. No idea what's been going on there. But no wonder it's not working. So this is completely at it. So this needs replacing. So I'm pretty sure I've got a couple of these without locks in. Now that's actually got the clip. So we'll take that clip off. We'll take the hinge off. Might even take this out, a bit of plastic off if we can. I'm not sure that's of any use really. I'll salvage any bits that I can use as spares. But yeah, what a mess. What an absolute mess. Why on earth has someone put that on? Dear, oh dear, oh dear. I mean, look, that's what happens when you don't put the vapour barrier on properly. It's got cobwebs, it's full of dirt. Mind you, that doesn't help that, of course, that it was open at the bottom. What a bodge. Just makes you wonder about anything else that's been done on this car, doesn't it? Yeah, it's not good. Anyway, let's go find a handle and we'll see if we can get a proper working handle. So what we hope now, if I hold that up like that, so if you can see the pins there, so if I put the key in, you should see all those pins go in. Yes. So it is the correct key, so that's a good start. So now because, now this handle, which I've got, has not got the pin in that goes in just there. So I'm just going to take the pin out of the other one, the old knackered one, and put it in there in place. So bear with me one sec. Right, so here's the old handle. So here's the pin just here. Now, I always use a little bradawl, and you get it under there, and you put your, actually this, normally what you do, because it's spring loaded, you put that in there in the little groove, put your finger over the top and then pull it. Now that's come out really easy, and I don't know if that's because of this, so I may have to try and find another spring. I don't know if this spring's got bent or something, but that came out far too easy. That shouldn't come out as easy as that. So we'll get the new one, sling that one down there, and we'll see if we can get that one in. They're quite tricky to get in these sometimes. Oh, fiddly little bleeders. Don't think it matters which way round. I'm sorry, I'm not getting this on camera. Don't think it matters which way round they go. I'm trying to stretch in front round the camera. Let me try and just do it in front of the camera. Yeah, it seems a bit too loose. See, I can just, or can I? No, it might be all right. We'll try it actually. We'll leave it in and we'll put the lock in and see what happens. So I've got the lock with the key in my pocket, so you put it in and that should lock it in. Oh, so the spring has just popped out, which then means that's probably what happened with the people who had this. So I think we just need a new spring. So I'll see if I can find another handle with a spring that I can take one off of. So with these, this is another handle, one that I can't get the lock out of because I haven't got the key. Normally with these, you'll turn the key in the lock, and that then moves that bit of black plastic out of the way, which allows you to take the thing out. Now I can't do that on this, of course, because I can't get the key out. So I'm just going to have to try and break the plastic, because this handle is of no use to me. And then there we go. Now that hopefully should be a good spring. So let's try and in the new handle. So I'll turn the key, place the spring in, and I heard that popped in perfectly, so that's fine now. So that's good. So that's all the person. That's all the person who had that needed to do. Get themselves a new handle with a new spring, and that's it. Job done. So now we can get this installed in the car. So we'll just give this a good wipe first before we go any further. That's not going to stay there. Sorry, I'm in the way. Wipe it as best we can. That'll do. And then now you can normally get these handles in with just that one rod on. Oh, I've got no hinge on this handle. I need to take the hinge off the other handle. I'd obviously borrowed the one off of this one at some point. Let me just change the hinge. Right, hinge is in. So we should be able to feed that in. Get that bit in first. Compress that. Then in it pops. Just like that. Get it into position. That's it. Hopefully you've just seen that. And I just need to do the bolts up, so we'll get those done, and then we'll come back and then we'll give it a test, make sure it actually locks the car. Right, that's done. Locked, unlocked, locked, unlocked. Did have a bit of trouble with it. I had to actually change the handle again because on the one I was putting on, this bit was all loose, so I had to swap it all over again. And then what I did, so on the, let me just show you. I can get the torch in there, because I've got a box. I've got two boxes like this full of bits of handles and bits of handles, which is always handy. If I get the torch in here, so you see the rod there with a red on it. Initially the handle was sticking right out outside, and the reason was because these are shaped, as you can see, and I had the opposite. I had the one from the passenger side on there, so it was shaped the opposite direction, so it was putting too much tension on it, so it wouldn't lock, and the handle wasn't returning. But it's fine now. I didn't realise they were different. Obviously it makes sense that they are, but that's done now, so we can get all this back together. Right, I've replaced the broken clips, straightened out the bent ones, and that's all on nice and firmly now. We'll put that together, and that works a treat. So that's one done. That's one job done, which was a bit of a chore, I have to say, but it's done now. The next thing we need to do, again, this car is going on the back burner for a little while because I've got other stuff to do, but I need to get these done to make the car secure and lockable for us then to assess what we're going to do with it. So my other favourite job, sorry I keep pointing the camera in the wrong place, my other favourite job is a new hinge on there, and then we're going to have a look at this mechanism. I have had a look on eBay and there are plenty of replacement clips, so I'm going to have a look, and I have got some window winders. I'm not sure if I've got a passenger side one, so I may actually just change it, to be fair. It might be easier just to, assuming that the glass has come out, and it might be an easy job. I might not need to buy one. I don't know if I've got a passenger side, but I'm going to have a look at it and see what needs doing. If it's just a matter it's come off for some reason, then it'll be easy enough to just put it back on again. But we'll see. I think it's probably going to be that thing that's broken. But we'll do the hinge first, and then we'll have a look at that motor and see what's going on with it. So bear with me, and we'll come back when we get to the motor. So this is another one I've got. As you can see, it's the left-hand side, which is what I want. Now on the one on the car, all these wires, it is in the clip. The clip isn't broken. Clip is there, which is luckily not broken on this one either. And all the cables are all loose. So it's a matter of taking the whole thing out and replacing it with this one. That should be easy enough to do. Fingers crossed. So let's get on and do that. It's a bit difficult to film as it's inside the door, but what I'll do is actually let me show you inside the door. It's taken me ages to do this as well. But that's done now. But we'll try. Might be able to see better than me actually. A bit like on the other side. So let me get the camera up there. No, I can't. I don't know what this is going to show. Look, sloppy wires. And strangely, there's no bolt on there. So someone's obviously been in here. It's 3 bolts. Someone has been in here and tried to sort it out, I imagine, but they've probably made it worse. So what we need to do is, so we undo these 2 bolts, take the old one out, take the electrical connection off, one-handed, like that. Slot the new one in, and then hopefully it'll work. Fingers crossed, we'll see. I'll be back. Right, that has literally taken me 2 minutes. So there's the old one, as you can see, all broken. So what I did, I think you've seen me do this before, and this was a tip that I got given by my windscreen guy, Paul, at Windscreens Direct. The tip is, you take that trim off, and to get it off without breaking, what you do is you get that in there, lined up with the clip in there, and you just go really hard. And it did, and it actually came off, and it's down there. And then I just undid the 2 bolts that were already on it. Now there's 3. Slip the new one in. Luckily the new one was already wound all the way down. So what I did is I switched the ignition on, and then I gradually inched up the mechanism until I made sure it was lined up with the glass. You keep going, and then it'll go click, and it will slip straight in. So now we're going to try it. So it should, by rights, go down now. Yes. Up. Let's take that bit of blue tack off of there. They tried to keep that closed with a bit of blue tack. Perfect. Fixed. Hey! Oh dear, that was the quickest thing of the lot. The locks normally take minutes. The locks have taken me ages. But that has now literally taken me a couple of minutes. So that's really good. I've never had one of those go before. Never. Quite surprised. But that will go in for the scrap. And we'll get the door card all back on. And then that's that. So that will be it for the time being on this car. As I say, I just wanted to get it so I can actually lock it and I can park it up in the street for the time being. And then once we've finished doing what we're doing on the other bits and pieces, the other cars, then we can get cracking on this and get to the bottom of why the remote control does not work. As I say, we have to hope that it is just this. If it's not, then we'll have to have some serious thoughts. But even if I do sell this on eBay, what I'll do is I'll tart it up. Actually, I didn't look at the colour, did I? I don't know what the colour is. Bianco Giosso 270A. So I will see if I can get a tin of that from Paints for You today. That looks alright. I looked at that actually, that looks fine there. A little bit of a mark there where it's rubbed, but looks alright. So I will clean it up, do what needs doing with it, even if I have to sell it. But I don't want to start changing body computers. It's a pain in the... Although, having said that, I have actually got one. I've got a body computer, engine ECU, door lock, ignition barrel. So I have actually... No, have I got the body kit? Yeah, I think I have actually. Because I bought a lock kit from Club 500 on one of the previous cars and didn't need it. So I haven't even taken it out of the box, but I think I've got everything. I don't know what model it came out of though, that's the problem. I could look back at the listing and see. If it came out of a lounge, then job's a good one. We'll cross that bridge as and when. We'll get a key done, and hopefully we'll take a chance and spend 140 quid and see what happens. But as I say, we're going to put it all back together. We'll park this up for the time being, so you'll see the next video on this as and when we get around to doing it. So thanks for sticking with me for this. I hope there's been a few tips that you've learnt on this, with door handles and locks and what have you. And I'll see you Don't know when, but obviously on this video, so we'll see you soon. Right, so I had it parked out in the road the other day. Well, I've had it parked out in the road since the walk around, and the remote control sort of started working again. Now it's stopped again. I went up to the car to put something in the boot, and it unlocked. And then I thought, let's try locking it, and it locked again. And now it's not doing it again. It's making me out to be a liar. Oh, here you go. Come to the back of the car, and it's locking, unlocking. Now it's not doing it from the front, but it is doing it from the back. How weird is that? Lock, unlock. Boot was working, and now it's not. And now it's not working again. Is it the key? Yeah, good. Now it seems to get it in the right place, and it does it. But at the back of the car, which is a bit odd. As you can see in there, we have a steering wheel, as well as some number plates as well. Steering wheel airbag. I mean, look at the difference in the colour of those buttons. We're going to use it though. It's not in the best condition, but it is, considering the state of the one that's on there. We're going to use it, and as I say, it came with an airbag. It was 80 quid, I think it was, for steering wheel and the airbag, so I didn't think that was bad. I could potentially, because the buttons on there, on the one on the car, are better, so I could potentially change them. So I might do that. I might swap them over. That would be better, wouldn't it? Because then they'd be more like, why they've discoloured like that, I don't know. Funny, isn't it? And also this bit on the steering wheel is discoloured as well. It's really strange. I'm not too worried about that bit, 'cause you don't really see that. But the buttons stick out like a sore thumb. Look at the state of them. So yeah, I think I will chop those. But I think what I'm intrigued, and I'm going to stick you up on a tripod. Oh, I've locked the car on. See, it worked from this side then. Strange. Oh, it's so dirty. It's so dirty. Can't wait to get it cleaned. Yeah, I'm going to stick you up on a tripod, and we are going to take that airbag off. Can't wait to get it off and see what's underneath it. Right. Oh, it really stinks in here. Okay, let's first things first. Let's get the cowlings off. Don't really need to take the top one off. We just need to take the bottom one off. I am tempted to take it off anyway, just to try and get in there and get it cleaned. Unscrew. It is really pongy in here. It is smoke, I think. It doesn't smell that smoky, but I think it's roll-ups, isn't it? Someone's smoking roll-ups, going by the bits of tobacco. They could have been smoking the reefer, I suppose. Gotcha! Oh, I mean, look at that. Look at the state of it. Oh, God. Everything about this car is filthy. Right, screwdriver, 3 holes. In previous videos where I've done this, I've said you had to lever. This is when I did the video years ago, and I think it still shows that you have to sort of lever. You don't, you just twist. So I used to have a bent screwdriver, but this sort of screwdriver is about the right sort of length. You just get in there and twist. He says. Actually, I think I did it then, and it need the key in the ignition because I need to turn the. Where is it? Lost the key now. That's the other car. Right. Do the side ones first. I think because sometimes if you do the other one first, the bottom one, it pops off. It pushes back on too easy. That one's off. I am so intrigued to see what this is like under here. It might be all right. It might be just battered at the top, but I'm very suspicious. Bloody hell, have they super glued this on as well? Oh no, there you go. Sometimes it takes a little bit more effort than others for some reason. There we go. It's quite easy, isn't it? I've struggled in the past. Right, well, it's connected, which is a good sign. So, it's battered to hell, isn't it? I mean, as it's connected, we have to assume that it's actually okay. So I think what I'll probably do is I'll probably keep it and I won't take it apart, because it's something that I could use as a spare if I was waiting for a new one to come. on, you know, on a future project. So I think I will keep hold of it. So it's not as bodged as I thought, it's just destroyed. But I think I've definitely changed these buttons. Yeah, which are a bit of a pain to do, I have to say. And obviously you don't want to end up breaking them or anything, but... Right, let's take the steering wheel off. Take the rubber thing off, and I believe it's a 24mm. Yes, let's lock the steering wheel. Oop. Let's just put the wheel straight again. There we go. That's that. Disconnect the connection on the inside, and off she comes, just like that. So I am tempted to take this top bit of cowling off anyway while I've got this off, just so I can clean under there properly. Right, so that's it. So that's a crap steering wheel, but I am going to take the buttons off if I can get them off without breaking, because they are a better colour, definitely. Oh, let's try not to break the rear view mirror, eh? Okay, yeah, so I am going to take this off. So 2 screws, which are, once you've got the steering wheel and everything off and the bottom cowling off, you can see them. So they're easy to get on, and more so when you put it back again. Sorry, easy to get off, but more so when you put it back on again. And we know the speedo's okay on this, don't we? It's just dirt. I think I might get the Hoover out, actually. Right, so I'm just going to clean this up a little bit, and then we'll come back and we'll put the new one on. Right, so I've cleaned it all up. I've cleaned this piece up. My hands are a little bit dirty, so... And I've cleaned the stalks up as well, because they're nice and clean now as well. They were rotten before. Everything about this car is absolutely rotten. I think probably this car has been cleaned once since it was new. I just don't get some people. I really don't. So get this back in position. So if you are ever changing your steering wheel, or changing an airbag, taking the steering wheel off for whatever reason, put these back on before you put the steering wheel back on, because with that you can actually see where the screws go. That one is so easy, you just put the screws in and do them up. Otherwise you're doing it completely blind, and I know where the screws are. But one thing you must remember to do, which I have so many times frustratingly forgotten, is when you put all these back on, you put the steering wheel on, you snap the airbag back into position, then you realise you forgot to put the nut back on, and the steering wheel's all like that, so you have to do it all again. The amount of times I've done that, I've even done it reminding myself out loud to do it, and as I've pushed the airbag on, I went, oh no, I forgot the nut. I must have done it 10 times. So if I do it again now, I am going to scream. Please don't let me do it. Right, let's get oh dear. Right, we all know there's a knack to doing these. I've spent nearly 2 hours in the past doing these, again with the steering wheel on. So you have to get them up at the right angle. So you might think that they need to go in like that, but they don't. Can you actually see? I'm not even sure you can. Let me tilt you down a little bit, if I can. I can't. You'll have to make do with that. So, oh, I've dropped one of the screws. Oh God. Okay, so as I was saying, you sort of naturally do it like that, but it's actually got to go like that. And as I say, you can when it's like this, you can do it by feel. Doesn't always go in first time. To get it into the hole, if you get it in the right place, you'll feel it like that, and then you can actually see it. If you slightly get it out of alignment, you can either go through the plastic on this, or it just don't go in. But you just need to do it by feel, go up in a straight line, preferably with a proper magnetic screwdriver, not one like this. Do it by feel, there you go. So if it stops, you know you're in the wrong place. If it carries on, It's difficult to describe, but yeah, that's it. Right, and I just need to get the new airbag off of the new steering wheel. I should give this a clean first, actually, before I put it on, shouldn't I? Okay, remember the nut, Paul. Remember the nut. Remember the nut. Oh, but I say we are going to take off these buttons. Actually, let's try and take these ones off now before we put it on. Yeah, actually, I think, again, you could do with an angled screwdriver. There you go, that one's off. So it's only actually the covers, isn't it? We can just take the covers off. That's a good point, actually. We don't need to replace the whole thing. So what I'll do is I'll put that to one side. This is one we prepared earlier, Jackanory, not Jackanory, Blue Peter. Let's say Blue Jackanory. So if I need a smaller screwdriver, really, a stubby one. In fact, I am going to get a stubby screwdriver. It just makes it easier, doesn't it? Right. This should do it better, I think. Oh, it's so smelly in here. Which one is it? This one. So let's do that side first. There we go. So again, if I can, take the top off, what we'll do is we'll give it a clean. Just give it a bit of a wipe over, and then that should just snap straight on to there. He says should. Maybe that should. Oh no, I'm taking the circuit board out now. There you go. There you go. That's it. That's better, isn't it? Much better. Much better. A bit of a wipe there. Right, feed the cables. Now you need to make sure that the little bit, let me take a picture because the camera's not there, so let me just hang that there a second. I'm just going to take a picture and then I'm going to superimpose it onto the thing now. So I'm going to point to it. So that needs to be lined up, see, because it can move, but you need to make sure that is lined up there. So I'm going to point to it and I'm going to put the picture up. Okay, because that will obviously affect your in fact it won't even go on if it's not straight, because you've got the plug that goes through the hole once your cables are fed through. So if it's not in the right place, you can't actually get your steering wheel on properly. Right, so let's come out of there a little bit. So you have to make sure it's like it will only go on one way, the steering wheel. Oh, what was that I've just knocked on the floor? Bolt, nut rather. Make sure that goes on and gets tightened up before you do anything else. But then again, you're probably not as stupid as I am, so. Have we got the keys in? No. Quite a stiff one, this one. I don't ever torque this or anything, I just tighten it up. I suppose it should be by rights, it should be torqued, I suppose, but I just do it up tight. It ain't ever going to come off, is it? Then we put plastic cover over. Don't know why it needs a plastic cover on there, but there you go. Right, so then we join the wires up there, so that wire joins in there, the right way round. That's the one that goes on the horn, and then these wires are in the way. Why have they come out of position? And that needs to tuck in there. There's a little crevice that it sits in, which sometimes it just pops out anyway. And then we put the new airbag on, which again will give a good clean up. Oh, I'm so glad I changed those buttons. It makes so much difference. Couldn't see that in the picture when I bought it. I probably wouldn't have bought it, to be honest, if I'd seen the state of them. Right, so we have got the airbag. Orange goes to orange, strangely enough. Snap that in. Purple goes to purple. And I can't get it in. Why can't it go in? Oh, what's going on here? Why is that not going in? What is going on here? Oh, that's it. Thought I had a dodgy one for a second. See, that bloody thing's popped out again. It always does that when you plug that in. Because if that gets in your way, if those cables get in the way of the horn, when you put the airbag back into position and you put the ignition on, your horn sounds, and you've got to take the whole lot off again and start again. So I think we're okay. Just push those wires into the back. Yeah, we're all right. So did the nut up, didn't I? Yeah, that's better. It's a shame about this discoloration on this bit of steering wheel, but it is what it is. Strange, but it is what it is. It looks like a design feature, doesn't it? It's only on that bit. And we've got a nice, slightly damaged, but nice steering wheel with nice controls that are the same colour. Okay, so I've just cleaned out in the boot. I had a little go at that earlier on, and I've improved it, but of course we've got the cracked paint there, so I'm going to have to sort that out in some way. I'm glad that there's not much in the way of paint that needs doing. There's that little bit there, but there's very little that needs doing paintwork, even though I've had to buy cans of paint. I've cleaned all that plaster off. This is in quite poor condition, and although I have cleaned the plaster off, you can still see bits of it. I may have one of those, in which case I'll just to tidy it up, I'll swap it. Failing that, I'll take it off and give it a really good scrub. When they got this car, that was obviously missing because this is a black one out of a Abarth or a Sport, not a grey one, which I've done myself before when it was the only one I could get. That is on the washing line at the moment. I gave it a good old clean with the elbow grease and used the old rotary brush on the drill and then jet washed it. I may still probably, when I do come to clean seats, whether it be these seats or any other seats, I will probably give it a clean as well. I think what I'm going to do, although I'm not really sort of actively working on this car today, I think what I'm going to do is take the bumper off and have a look at these, see what's going on with these DRLs. Can't remember if they work actually. We need to switch them on and see if they're actually working. And if they're not working, you know, they may actually be disabled. But obviously the thing inside that it fits to is obviously faulty. It's obviously come. I imagine it's come away. I've already had a feel around there. There's a cable tie on that side that's holding the wing in. That side has got a bolt. So we'll get that off. Yeah, we'll get that off and we'll have a look. Also have a look, see what else is going on underneath, because I don't trust people. That's just me. But yeah, we'll get this bumper off and then we'll see what's going on underneath and get those DRLs sorted out. So I'll be back shortly. Okay, so this was a Cat N, wasn't it? There's nothing here has been replaced by the looks of it. that air conditioning works. A bit of a stained, but then they often are. I would say that's on the original bars, and it actually looks like the original slam panel, but it's not got the label on it. That's what always makes me think, because you have the start-stop label on there, on the originals. Yeah, it's a lounge, isn't it? Of course, yeah, it's not a pop, so it's got aircon, of course, which, as I say, which works, and it's got start-stop, of course, which probably doesn't work. At least the foam bit's there this time. Oh, hang on, no, it must be, because it's got a... Yeah, no, that has been replaced, isn't it? You don't normally see those stickers on there. But it all looks good under there. You wait till you see this, though. I discovered what's going on with these headlights. You're not going to believe this. The headlights have obviously lost their headlights. DRLs have lost all of their tabs by the looks of it. And I nearly swore then, and they've glued the bin. They've glued the damn thing. Now, one of the things are coming off. They've glued them. Now, if you've got no tabs, there is a much better way of doing this, which I may or may not do on this one, actually. You drill a hole in there. You drill a hole in this bit, and then you feed cable ties through, and you cable tie them on. You don't use Tiger Seal. Of all the stupid things to do, they've done the same. So they've glued it at the top there, and they've glued it to each bar, all because the tabs are broken. I mean, I know they work and they're okay, so I think I'll revert to my way of doing it, which again, you know, is not the best way of doing it. It's a little bit of a bodge, but doing it that way, they are sturdy. This is just ridiculous. Gluing a frigging headlight into a bumper. How ridiculous. Can you believe it? So, what we need to do is take them out, if we can get them out, clean them up, and then we'll get those holes drilled, and I'll see it as long as there is the tabs there for me to drill into. It's a fine way of doing it. I've done it a few times on like 1 or 2 tabs. I don't want to be spending money on this car, really, and the lights themselves are completely fine. So they were obviously the original ones that just had broken tabs. I think the backing that it sticks to is okay on both, so that doesn't need gluing back into position. I can't believe someone has done that. Maybe on one tab, yeah, but not on both lights on all 3 tabs. That is just absolutely ridiculous. Wow. Right, let's get them off and clean them up, and then we'll come back. Right, there you go, that's the first one done. So you just drilled holes, and that is absolutely solid as a rock. That ain't going anywhere. So I've removed all the glue, cleaned it up, and then just put it back, and it fits perfectly in there. I say it's not something I would normally do. Not on all 3. I might do it on one if it had a broken tab, but then I do often, if I've got the tabs, which you usually do, I plastic weld them back on, and again that makes them as good as new. But seeing as they're here, the lights, and they work, yeah, why not? It's certainly better than gluing it, isn't it? That's for sure. Let me see if I can get the other one off. It just pulled off. It literally just pulled off like that. Look at it. How crazy is that? Absolutely mental. Right, I'm going to do this one, and then we might as well get the bumper back on again. Just get all these bits of glue off. Can't do it one-handed. Get them off the light and do the same thing. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. I despair sometimes. Right, starting to look the part now, isn't it? I've just cleaned it. I haven't gone mad, just done it with a snow foam. I haven't done anything else. Snow foamed, rinsed, and then dried off with a towel. But it's actually quite a nice colour, this pearlescent, isn't it? I know it's a pain in the arse to match and a pain in the arse to lay down, because I think I've got 2 aerosols I've got to match. There's a few little touching up bits to do, bits on the bumper there, and along the very bottom edge of the bumper there's some, but I'll probably touch those in. So I think what I'm going to try for that is I'm going to spray some out into a cup of each one, and then try putting the base and then putting the top one over. See if that works. I don't think it's 2.6. I don't know. I don't think it's 268A with something else over it. I'm not sure. I don't know if it works like that. Time will tell when it comes. It should be coming tomorrow. Now we've got this here, which I don't think I'm going to be able to do anything about. I think that's just going to have to go like this. I do sort of intend to sell this car quite cheap, but I still want to get it as best as I can. But things like that, I just don't think I'm going to be able to do anything about. They're too pinhole, aren't they? My slide hammer with the things on the back of it, you know, that you pull with, is broken, so I've got to order a new one. I mean, I could try with a glue, but I think it will be better to just pull it out gently. I don't think it will take much. We've got a couple of bits there that have got to be rubbed down and touched up. Again, I'd rather touch it up rather than do no shh, because I'm not sure how successful that's going to be. There's bits of dirt that have come out of it. Oh, I know I forgot to do in there as well, didn't I? Oh, look at that, minging. Never mind, that'll be on its final wash. Got a little bit on the bumper there. I've got two of those. Neither of them go in very well, so I'm probably going to have to glue one in, actually. Got to change the number plates. Nothing on the back apart from that little scratch there. We come around to here. We have a little dent just there, which I'm going to try and get out. We have improved this, but of course we've got this cracked paint, so I don't quite know what I'm going to do there, but I'm going to try, before I do anything with that, I'm going to try and pull that out a little bit more. It is less noticeable now, but it's still there. That's about it, I think. I think that's all we need to do. We need to also ring that company up and find out what that last service done this year was, that they paid the 400 and odd quid. But it's starting to look okay. It's got good tyres all round. MOT is, when is the MOT? May, I think it is, isn't it? So this obviously won't be getting MOT'd. The interior, obviously, I need to speak to my subscriber who is going to sell me some seats. He's selling them to me nice and cheap, which is very good of him. Obviously we've got the new steering wheel on. Once we get these seats out, of course, we can go over it and try and deodorize it and have the old disco with a smoke machine, and see if we can improve on that. It's on the smell, get rid of the smell. And we might actually use that deodorizing machine as well as the smoke machine. Try both, see what happens. But yeah, the interior's got to come out. Excuse my neighbour with his stupid music. Yeah, so probably we'll leave. No, because we're getting the dog tooth, aren't we? So we'll be replacing the entire interior, and then of course we can get the door cards. He's given me the door cards as well, actually. So we'll have a spare set of door cards, which I could potentially sell or keep once I've cleaned them up. Wheels are all okay. Tiny little bit of touching up, nothing major. But yeah, we're getting there. Oh, and that as well. I'd forgotten about that. That should, I think, hot glue should warm that up, and then hot glue, I think, will probably get that off. And I look at my thumb. I've got a great big blister on it. I got hot glue on it this morning. I knew I should wear gloves when I'm doing that. I don't know if I couldn't get it off. Oh, pain. So yeah, we're getting there, aren't we? We are getting there. So I think that's all we're going to do today. Right, so I think we're going to call it a day on this one now. Need to get that interior done next, really, and I've ordered I need to order another dent pulling tool so I can get those little dents out, plus the one in the top of the roof there. So yeah, so that's it for now. So as always, thanks for watching. If you're not a subscriber, don't forget, hit the button up there, subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. Until the next one on this car, take care, stay safe, and we'll see you soon.